He didn't have a training camp. He didn't have an off season. As far as practice went, he was just rehabbing, trying to get back. So it's understandable he was a little bit rusty. Man, he's good. And he's going to be good. And he's already Pro Bowl level when it comes to run blocking. When they do those combo blocks on the left side with Dickerson and Mailata, oof, good luck.
65, you've got Mac and Matt, John McMullen and Jody McDonald. And oh, by the way, I've done a whole bunch of double Mac Attack days, but that would be just a reference to me doing 2 shows on the air. Oh, we've got a double Mac Attack day today. Because thank you for tuning in to the early edition of Birds 365. There will be a later edition of Birds 365 today. Both yours truly and John McMullen will be out live at Screwballs on Beadler Road in King of Prussia later today. Live taping of a Birds 365 show. We'll probably start the taping around 6:15. So come on out. I've been to Screwballs before. Have you been to Screwballs before, J-Mac?
I have never been to Screwballs before. I've done many remotes, but never Screwballs. So we're looking forward to it.
Good spot. Good eats. Get out there a little early. We'll grab a bite before we actually start taping.
Well, I'm going to have to. You got to South Jersey. You're coming the same way. That's swimming upstream. We're salmon, Jody.
A little bit, depending on. Now, I've done it in like record time, but I've also done it over the course of hours. It's probably about 20 some odd hours, 20 some odd miles from my house, and it's taken hours. You never know what you're going to face on the Schuylkill Expressway. Hopefully, no massive traffic today. But I'm very much looking forward to hanging with you a little later tonight. But we got a show to do now for the next 2 hours here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. What did you do with your off day yesterday, McMullen?
Pretty much what I said. And now I feel bad because I'm thinking you texted me early about NXT and I forgot to get back to you. But I was just writing all day, I was trying to catch up and do some different things. And you get into the grind of the season. We talk about coaches and how much they work, and man, it flies by. It really does, because you're always doing something. Every day you got to do something. It's nice to take a breath.
Yeah, I'm glad if you got a breath in yesterday. You should have watched NXT, as I told you, because it was a really good ending. I can't believe Johnny Gargano is going to step away. And I've not always been the biggest NXT fan. I didn't jump immediately to it when they developed it and the last couple of years. I've been a Tuesday night devotee, but he's been there since day one, right?
Pretty much, not day one. I mean, they started really. I'm the exact opposite. I used to love NXT. Now I can't watch it because Vince McMahon stepped in and ruined it. And it's just a terrible show right now. But I read about Johnny Gargano. Sounds to me, and I have no idea. Sounds to me like he's going to have a kid soon. Sounds to me he's taking some time off and he's going to come back because they did an angle, I guess. So it's typically his contract is ending. So that's one of those things. It's a bigger deal now because of AEW. We're getting off into the early wrestling tangent. So, and Johnny Gargano, for anybody who doesn't know wrestling, is a great, great wrestler, but he's really small. So there's a limitation. Like Vince McMahon, you got to be 6'4", 270 to be a main eventer. Whereas Tony Khan, I advocate to anybody, Adam Cole, somebody like Johnny Gargano, look, go to AEW if they want you. But Tony can't pay everybody, so he doesn't make as much money. So, sometimes I think that's Vince's plan as well. Just flood the market and say, all right, go pay these guys. They're not difference makers. So I don't know. That's my conspiracy. My early conspiracy theory.
Didn't mean to get off on an NXT tangent, but you reminded me that you didn't text me back there. I told you watch the end of NXT, so that's why I brought it up. All right, switching back to the Eagles, where size does matter too. Eagles are in the midst of the bye week. Everybody's got some downtime, and that's a good thing for their offensive line because damn if they haven't been carrying this football team. We like to talk about the quarterback. Yeah, Gardner Minshew goes in, puts up the 100 and change quarterback rate, perfect in the first half. Jalen Hurts is doing things, running the football that we've never seen with an Eagle quarterback before, but his passing accuracy is a question mark. This is all legit questions for one reason only: the offensive line. They open up holes on the running game. The Eagles are in the midst of a run of running that they've never done before as an organization. And it's several different backs that are getting the job done. If there was one guy back there who was in the top 5 in the NFL rushing, we'd give him all the credit. Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell. Doesn't matter who it is. They're all getting good game production, almost game in and game out. How is that? Because of the offensive line, because they're playing to the level that they're playing. And remember, they're playing without their 2 starting guards and have been for the great majority of the season. I think we're very good here at Birds 365 and giving Stoutland the credit that he deserves. But from time to time, we forget to just give the individual players credit. Right now, this Eagle offensive line, and I know how good it was when they went to the Super Bowl, John. I think it's playing on that par. I think it's playing on that level. We're seeing that kind of offensive line played right now in the Philadelphia Eagles.
I agree. I think you can argue it's better. And I know that's a big statement, but if you think about the Super Bowl season, I think people forget, Jason Peters was still, this is at the end of his career, but was still a good player, but he got injured. It was, the torn ACL. So Halapoulivaati Vaitai was in there for basically the second half of the season. And he did a great job, yeoman work, all that kind of stuff, but he still was a young developing player who had some significant issues as well. And now you got Jordan Mailata, who we talked about a little bit yesterday when we're throwing out some grades. I mean, that guy's he's in the Pro Bowl conversation. In fact, at this point, I'd be stunned if he didn't make it. Look, the only reason I say, you have Trent Williams, who I say is historic, all-time, one of the best left tackles ever, is still playing at that kind of level with San Francisco. So he's not the best left tackle in football, but he's in the conversation to being the second best left tackle. Lane Johnson's Lane Johnson. Now, we know he had the issues with mental health and he wasn't there the whole time, but now he's ramping up to being what he typically is. And Jason Kelce's still playing. And I'm saying it now. I said, people would ask me, is he a Hall of Fame player? I say, well, he needs a couple more years. He's a Hall of Fame player right now, period. The way his peers react to him, he's become one of those guys. I always, the Eagles put a clip up of Jordan Mailata going on the field. I don't know if you saw it, Jody, but, he was doing his rock impression. I guess we're going to go wrestling heavy early because it's me. And he said the GOAT has come back to MetLife Stadium, that type of thing. He was talking about Kelce, obviously. He's just great. He really is. And then, obviously they've had so many issues at guard. And Brandon Brooks, who's another Pro Bowl level player, isn't even out there. And Isaac Seumalo, who is probably the most underrated player on the Eagles, is not even out there. And now you've lost Jack Driscoll, who's played pretty well, I would say, as a replacement. And of course, I'm getting to Landon Dickerson. He had some struggles early when he got thrown into the deep end of the pool. And remember, he was coming off the torn ACL at Alabama. And that happened in December. That happened in the SEC championship game. So it wasn't like an ACL during the season, September. No, it was really late. And so he didn't have a training camp. He didn't have an off season. As far as practice went, he was just rehabbing, trying to get back. So it's understandable he was a little bit rusty. Man, he's good. And he's going to be good. And he's already Pro Bowl level when it comes to run blocking. When they do those combo blocks on the left side with Dickerson and Mailata, good luck. Those two guys are big and strong, and they just push people around. And he still needs some work on pass protection. But for a rookie, a left guard, and I said, you know what I think of Devontae Smith. I might not be where you are. I know what you think of Devontae Smith, but I consistently say that kid's going to be a star. I think Landon Dickerson might end up being better at his position than Devontae Smith is at his position. And that's not an insult to Devontae Smith, because I think Devontae is going to be really good. I think Landon might be even better long term. So Howie Roseman finally went the Alabama route after years and years and years of ignoring it. Maybe stick with that, because 1 and 2 look really, really good this year.
Yeah, we always are evaluating Howie Roseman, the drafter, and Howie Roseman, the early drafter, because he's much better in the day 3 picks than he is in the first round picks. Always sitting on 2 major victories this past year. Very early to be judging. We don't even have a year in the books, but early returns on both Alabama guys, as you point out, that he took have been outstanding. And do you still believe that Dickerson's best position is center? Because I know, well, you love him, I love him, everybody loves him, everybody in town loves him. We're both acknowledging that we think he's a Hall of Fame player. The one thing about Jason Kelce is you never know when he's going to walk away. We've been waiting for it for minimum of 3 years now. After the Super Bowl, it started the conversation of actually, I'm not sure. We'll see where it goes. I'm not that. And he just keeps coming back and coming back and coming back and playing at a Pro Bowl level, playing at a Hall of Fame level. But it's kind of disconcerting when you're thinking about the future. 65 into those seasons as well. We don't know if Jason Kelce's going to be the center. And just judging Jason Kelce on the way that he's handled his life and his time here in Philadelphia, he's going to try and walk away with no pomp and no circumstance. He's going to ask the Eagles to release a statement before all you guys who cover the team go nuts. When did Jason come? We have to be able to talk to Jason. We have to be able to see Jason, which, well, you should. But at some point, he's just going to walk away. Are they going to move Dickerson over to center? Because we may be 2 or 3 years into his Pro Bowl left guard level of play. Where's Dickerson going to end up playing more games for the Eagles, left guard or center?
I think you have to answer the question of who is better long term. You want to get your top 5, because the Eagles have said for a lot of years that center is probably Isaac Seumalo's best position as well. And I know they rave about his intelligence, his smarts, and that I've heard Landon Dickerson compared to Ryan Jensen, the big Tampa Bay center, who's just this dominant, different type of center than Jason Kelce, but dominant in his own right, big, nasty. So they have some options there. I've always said, knowing Stout for as long as I have, if you go way back to when the Eagles drafted Lane Johnson, I think people forget. The original plan was Lane would start at right tackle, and then he'd move to be the left tackle when Jason Peters finally retired. And he never retired and just kept going and going and going and going. And one day Stout showed up and said, you know what, Lane's so good at right tackle, I'm not moving him. And that could be a similar situation here with both players. In other words, he might say, Isaac has developed into such a good left guard in this league, I'm not moving him. Or Landon really looks like he's going to be a star left guard, I'm not moving him, and he moves the other. I think that's the question. One of those 2 guys will be playing center if Jason Kelce moves on. The question is, who would you rather have? Just what is the duo? What is the 10th? They're both going to play. It's just where are they going to play? And ultimately, I think because of his understanding of the game, and because they've seen Mailata and Dickerson together for this extended period, I think Isaac would play center if Jason were to walk away after this season. And by the way, real quick about Jason walking away, he joked around about this, but he was serious. He said the only reason he's playing is the cafeteria at the NovaCare complex, which I can confirm is phenomenal, even though we're no longer allowed in there, guys. come on, let us back. But and the locker room. So in a lot of ways, if you go back to 2020 and all those restrictive COVID rules, if they kept that for another year, he might have walked away this year. So a lot of it is out of the Eagles' hands. Like, where does this go? Is it going to keep going in a positive direction? Because you see around it, some places it's going in a negative direction. That could play into it as well. Because if he doesn't have that camaraderie and he can't eat with people in the cafeteria, he might say, you know what? He's married. He's got his kids. Just get out of here.
Let me hold your feet to the fire here a little bit. And again, this year is a prime and perfect example of the best laid plans. We all think it's this easy. Just you figure out your starting five on your offensive line. You put them in the positions that you think they're best suited for, playing with all the other guys, and then you let them go. Oh, here come injuries. Here comes COVID. Here comes issues. So you've got to be able to be flexible and move around and insert guys coming in off the bench. So even though I know this is an imperfect question, as an old school across the board, who are going to be your five starters? Assuming Brandon Brooks is not back, but assuming everyone else is, what is the Eagle offensive line going to look like if all are healthy and ready to go week 1 in 2022?
Well, if Kelce's back, obviously it becomes easier. It's Mailata, it's Dickerson. It's Mailata, it's Seumalo, it's Kelce, it's Dickerson, and it's Johnson from left to right.
Right, but didn't you just tell me that Dickerson and Mailata have looked so phenomenal together that you might not want to mess with that left side? You're telling me Dickerson would move to the right side more so than Seumalo?
Yeah, I think he would, because I think, that's one of the things. And maybe you're right. You shouldn't pay such deference to a veteran. But the Eagles, and I've always said this, man, for some reason, because the Eagles have so many good offensive linemen, people, a lot of fans look at Isaac and say, he's not that good. Jeff Stoutland loves Isaac Sam. I mean, he loves him to death. I've said it numerous times on the show. He's going to pay deference to that guy. And if it doesn't work out for some reason, but I think it will, because you have the same philosophy on the right side. I mean, you have Dickerson and Johnson. It's just, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same dominance, just maybe a little bit more right-handed than left-handed. They have so much respect and Stout has so much respect for Isaac Seumalo. I don't think they'd move him. I could be wrong, but that's the way I think he'd go. And remember, that's the way it was early this season until Isaac got hurt and Landon was playing right guard.